Won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's gonna happen. They touch me. Fuck around and find out.
So a couple of weeks ago, after the white woman Renee Good was killed by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, this group of brothers hit the scene calling themselves the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. Paul Birdsong identified himself as the national chairman and immediately got to talking tough. Mr. Birdsong and his affiliates are just the most recent group in this long-standing trend of certain nostalgic activists, fans, descendants, and sometimes paid agents of the state imitating the party. The first time this happened was with the new Black Panther Party in 1989, but that was like a paramilitary extension of the Nation of Islam's Fruit of Islam. It happened again with a brother calling himself General Mike Payne of the so-called original Black Panther Party in 2018. And it happened again in 2020 in Georgia after George Floyd was killed. This woman, calling herself Queen, claimed to be the leader of the Black Panthers and hit the scene in Decatur with this little pea shooter designed to look like an AR-15, but it's not an AR-15. And she was also wearing this thing, and that's an airsoft vest, actually. Shortly after, her and her colleagues got exposed as models and actors paid to influence the public. And a lot of folks think Birdsong is an agent or a paid provocateur. There's no evidence for that right now, but he is pretentious and obnoxious. And the allure of the party makes sense. It was one of the most beautiful things the black world has ever seen. But Birdsong and his cohorts could never be the Black Panther Party, not only because the party was dissolved in 1982, but because his philosophy's not there. What do I mean by that? While his group emphasizes anti-imperialism and inter-ethnic solidarity verbally, he lacks any documented independent analysis showing a systematic political theory. And his armed appearance at the ICE protest was phenomenological. It was aesthetic and reactionary. Said differently, he's not playing chess. This type of pseudo-masculine posturing when the camera's on shouldn't be confused with the establishment of functioning patrols or community security detail of the party. And his organization has engaged in some really beautiful public-facing community aid programming. But that programming isn't integrated into any larger structured effort to build or consolidate socialized power. Finally, Birdsong is highly visible, and that don't line up with the defensive tact and discipline required of party members. So he became loosely affiliated with the legacy of the party through the co-founder of the Washington State chapter, Captain Aaron Dixon, who wrote a letter this week about Birdsong saying that he, quote, was getting a great deal of self-generated social media exposure and his image became more performative. He attempted to legitimize himself through his rather superficial connection to me and other Panthers. I watched his ego grow out of proportion, watched him use the word I rather than we. It was all political theater. Assuming Paul Birdsong is sincere, Captain Dixon makes some really important points here. Philosophy is not particularly sexy, it is not immediately rewarding, and it is very challenging at times. But a comprehensive framework to support any liberation movement is critical. Ideology colors absolutely everything, all the way from tactics of implementation to the staying power of programs to the quality of leadership, and ultimately whether or not the state is threatened. And Birdsong is not a threat. For more revolutionary black masculinist content, support the Black Male Journal. All right,